现四架敌机，立即启动火鸟中队。
Pop-up, bogey, 11 o'clock.
Shit, 206!
Where the hell are they?
How'd they get there?
What the fuck?
The Chengdu J-10A, known in China as the Vigorous Dragon and to NATO as the Firebird, is a fourth-generation light fighter in service with the PLAAF. The result of a design competition in 1981, the J-10 was a development of the cancelled Chengdu J-9 and represented a massive advancement within the Chinese aircraft industry. In War Thunder, the J-10A is one of the best fighters at top tier, featuring advanced weaponry and a class-leading radar that allows it to dominate in battle. In this video, we'll explore its history, its capabilities, and how you can make the most out of Chengdu's Vigorous Dragon. In the late 1970s, the People's Republic of China began searching for a replacement aircraft for their aging fleet of J-6s, license-built MiG-19s that represented the bulk of the PLAAF, and J-7s, MiG-21 derivatives. Several designs were put forward by various aircraft manufacturing works, but the impact of the Cultural Revolution and the Great Leap Forward meant many of these designs were subject to feature creep and developmental problems. One such design was the Chengdu J-9, proposed initially in 1964, but which languished in development hell for 16 years before being cancelled in 1980. In 1981, the Chief of the Air Force initiated a fighter development and acquisition program, the first of its kind in China, in which Shenyang, Hongdu, and Chengdu all participated. Shenyang put forward a design based on their own cancelled J-13, another victim of the Cultural Revolution, whilst Hongdu put forward a complicated swing-wing design akin to the MiG-23. But it was a simplistic yet modern design of Chengdu, incorporating new features such as canards that won out, and the J-10 was selected for development. But the development of the J-10 still struggled with after effects of the Cultural Revolution and China's fledgling aircraft industry. Over 60% of the aircraft was to incorporate new technology and equipment that had yet to be developed, a great leap forwards in terms of technological advancement intended to put China on equal footing to their international rivals. Yet for nearly 10 years it was a leap that China was unable to take due to a combination of both developmental struggles and a lethargic bureaucracy that had overseen the deaths of precursor programs during the Cultural Revolution. As of late 1990, the program seemed doomed to share the fate of both the J-13 and the J-9, languishing for over a decade before its cancellation. This would, of course, be completely fine, as even though the PLAAF was outdated, it was still very large, and there was no way that a large but obsolete air force would get completely wiped out. Right? The utter decimation of the Iraqi military, then the fourth largest in the world and widely equipped with Chinese materiel, in the span of a single month, demonstrated harsh realities to the entire world, not least of all China. The Iraqi Air Force, equipped partially with the F-7, an export variant of the J-7, was thoroughly trounced by the Coalition Air Force, demonstrating to the world that the backbone of the PLAAF was incapable of standing up to its modern contemporaries. The reaction was a major investment in getting the J-10 program moving once again, and in short order the program began to take shape, helped by new advances in computer-aided design, CAD, and computational fluid dynamics, or CFD. By 1998, the prototype aircraft was flightworthy and took to the skies with an AL-31 engine, the same found on the Sukhoi Su-27. The intended WS-10 engine, a part of the design since inception, struggled through such deep developmental issues that it's a miracle it wasn't cancelled, eventually staggering into service on the J-10C in 2021, a full 40 years since development began. Despite the troubles with its power plant, the J-10A entered operational service in 2006 after 2 years of final testing, giving the PLAAF a modern airframe in which to replace the gap created by the retirement of the J-6 in the mid-1990s as the J-10 program reached maturity. With over 600 airframes manufactured, the J-10 nevertheless represents a critical step in China's aircraft development program, serving as a stepping stone for the more modern designs entering service today. Abroad, the J-10 has only seen service in Pakistan, although Egypt seems to be receiving orders. And despite escorting strikes against militia forces, the aircraft has yet to see any combat service. In War Thunder, however, the J-10A's unblemished combat record does not detract from its capabilities. First teased in a cryptic leak list as a mythical creature filled with vigor, she debuted in late 2024 as the face of the Dance of Dragons update. It represented a strong step in the right direction for the Chinese air tree, replacing the abysmally dogshit J-11A as the paramount leader of the Chinese tech tree. In contrast to previous top-tier aircraft, the J-10A has survived the introduction of contemporaries in her tree, such as the Mirage 2000 EI, and remains China's finest top-tier aircraft. Perhaps the most notable feature of the J-10A is the radar, the Type 1473, which has been described as China's first practical and successful pulse Doppler radar, and which is paired with a capable helmet-mounted sight. But the real attraction afforded by this radar is the 85-degree gimbal limit, almost allowing you to both crank and notch at the same time. For those unaware, cranking is when you guide your missile at the edge of your radar's limit, meaning you avoid a head-on charge against the enemy, providing a greater window to avoid incoming missiles. Notching is when you position yourself 90 degrees against incoming missiles, providing an opportunity to chaff and spoof incoming radar missiles. Speaking of missiles, the J-10A comes equipped with the PL-12, the same active radar homing missile found on the J-8F and the JF-17, where it's known as the SD-10. The PL-12 is one of the best Fox 3 missiles in the game, and a notable step up from the R-77 on the J-11A. A combination of high speed and maneuverability, coupled with the performance of the aircraft, provides you with an excellent standoff potential, especially when paired with the 6 missiles you can carry. Once you exhaust your reserves of PL-12s, the J-10A is capable of carrying 2 IR missiles. While you are offered the PL-8, a license-built Python 3 missile, it is strongly suggested that you ignore them, as they lack IRCCM and are thus incredibly susceptible to countermeasures. Instead, the reliable PL-5, first found on the J-7E and now upgraded to the PL-5E2 spec with IRCCM and all-aspect capabilities, is the go-to pick. Unlike the other ARH-capable aircraft in the Chinese air tree up to this point, the J-10A has a lightweight airframe and a powerful engine that provides it not only with incredible stall control, but unmatched nose authority. The engine also provides you with the power needed to zoom climb to high altitudes, to catch Streagles and other high-speed AMRAAM trucks off guard, whilst maintaining maneuverability due to your high thrust-to-weight. Despite the performance offered by the airframe and the engine, it's usually a bad idea to take head-ons, as your gun is still the lackluster Gush 23 garden hose. The J-10A benefits from an aggressive pilot who is not afraid to engage the enemy and pull aggressive combat maneuvers, but it is also simultaneously an aircraft that will actively punish pilots who play more passively. Furthermore, the low countermeasure count, 72 with no options to carry more, means any engagements must be decided quickly, as prolonged fights will only advantage NATO airframes, who tend to carry far more countermeasures. Due to the design, the J-10A has incredible nose authority, but the trade-off for this is that you will bleed energy if you attempt to rate fight. This is most pronounced when fighting aircraft such as F-16 Block 10s, whose airframe design provides them with nearly unrivaled performance in the rate. Two other planes to watch out for are Typhoons and Rafales, which both, when in the hands of a skilled pilot, beat you in most aspects. In ground battles, the J-10 works best in a cap roll, as it cannot carry much in the way of ground ordnance. If you still want to strike some ground targets, swapping out some PL-12s for GB250s would be your best option. As you spade your J-10A, I'd recommend following a certain order to make sure your experience is as pain-free as possible. Start with flares and chaff and then get the PL-5E2s, then go for new boosters, airframe, G-suit and wings repair. Grab the PL-8s so you can go straight for the PL-12s. Next, pick up engine, compressor, cover and fuselage repair. With your performance spaded, grab the offensive 23mm and the new 23mm cannons. When going for ground ordnance, go for the KADC-03A targeting pod first, and then pick up the GB250s. Grab the rest of the unguided weapons before circling back to grab the GB500s. I wouldn't recommend using them, as they lack the dual mode GNSS and IOG of the GB250s. Finally, grab EFS to fully spade it. And that's it for the J-10A. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed getting to talk about this absolutely stunning aircraft. If you'd like to see more, drop a like, subscribe, and come yell at me in the Discord, link in the description. Fly safe.